Hello guys from Yonkers Voice. Here we are with Mr. Anthony Merante, Councilman Anthony Merante for the 6th District, right?
That is correct.
Now, the reason why Mr. Merante is here today is to counter some points made by his opposition. And we call them because he was the first person to be interviewed. Normally the first person is a little bit in a kind of a disadvantage, okay, some say. So now you have an opportunity to counter the points that you feel needs to be clarified or counter. Thank you for taking the time, Mr. Merante. Thank you for being here, as always.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on as a rebuttal to my opponent's comments on your program the other day.
Did you watch the interview?
I did. I watched it in its entirety twice, just to make sure I did.
Twice.
I wanted to make sure that I heard what I heard. I want to thank my opponent. I mean, my campaign manager right now is taking that thing and slicing and dicing it because he basically said that, you know, he wasn't a politician, and he definitely showed he wasn't a politician because he contradicted a lot of things that has been said in the past.
But you know, Mr. Merante, there is lots of people, local, federal level, that claim not to be politicians, got involved in politics and became politicians. It happens, no?
Yeah, that's true.
It happens.
Okay.
Were you a politician before you became the councilman?
Do we how much time do we have? Should we go to lunch? The answer is that you could be in you'd be a politician without being in politics, because I was you know, the structure in Yonkers, you know, I was a district leader, ward leader, so I was involved with many campaigns. So I guess I'm involved with politics, and you learn the game. That's how you win.
So we are going to address some of the points made.
Okay.
Mr. Hodges says that he's going to be a voice for the people. You are also a voice for the people.
Thank you very much. Do I have to ask anything else?
No,
I'm always the one that speaks up. Listen, my reputation has been that I speak for the people. I don't speak for the administration. Okay, I give an independent analysis of what's going on everywhere within the city. To the point where people outside of my district call me for help because they know that they can count on me to step up for them on their behalf and not sway it towards the administration.
Isn't that the definition of an elected official? I would assume that you are elected by the people to represent the people that elected you.
And that's what I do every day.
So let's talk about, I don't know, I'm not going in order of points made. I sliced it as you used the term.
Well, the most important thing that my opponent did say that I'm a nice guy, multiple times.
But look,
he's right. That he was correct on.
I cannot disagree with him. I cannot disagree with him, even though sometimes we have different views. You yourself said that even though you ran for mayor, you don't have a problem personally with the current mayor.
Absolutely not.
So
I think I still consider him a good friend. We just disagree with certain things, and
exactly.
And he plays the political game.
But that's the way it is. You're both nice guys, but you have different views for the district or the city that we live in. Nothing personal.
Absolutely.
Nothing personal. And you are a nice guy, Mr. Merante.
Thank you very much. And I consider you a good guy too.
You are a nice guy. With redistricting of your district.
Sure.
One of the things he alleges is this happened about a year ago, give or take. And just now you are sending mass mailings out there introducing yourself as the council person for that district. Any truth to it? You want to clarify that so those that are watching understand exactly what it is and then they can make their own mind?
We did put out something last year. I don't remember how broad we made it last year. I did not go back to that part. But the point of the matter is I did put out a card just now. I guess you want to call it reintroducing yourself, but you know something? That's the thing about this political game. People forget real fast and they don't remember, so needless to say, I sent it out. I sent out a card, and that's it. We sent out a card. We sent out a card looking for feedback.
Look, personally, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
It's nothing wrong with it.
I know many people that I knew from years ago. And look, I'm getting older, not younger. And sometimes you just forget a face or two. Look, I'm so-and-so, and we reintroduce ourselves. I think it's fair.
That mailer did not just go to the, it didn't just go to new people.
Okay.
The card itself, I should have brought one for you, it basically said that for some of you that are new, it went to all my district, and some of you, this might be the first time you're hearing from me because you're in my district. So that's all there is to it.
Okay, now let's change this thing
what's
around.
wrong with that? But go ahead.
Okay, let's change the script around. You saw the interview twice. Is that something specifically that you want to bring out and clarify to our viewers, and then we go through my questions?
There are a lot of things that I can go through. The thing that really irked me the most about it, if I wanted to pin something, was that he said I went out and called people up to do a shoot for the water drainage on Odell Avenue. No, sir. This is what the job is all about. Those folks called me up looking for help. Okay, I went out there last year to speak to them. We met at someone's house about approximately a year ago, and we put some, I put some information into the administration, and nothing happened. They called me back again. They said, Anthony, what's going on? I said, well, let's revisit the situation. They called asking for help. They are very concerned because they happen to be living in an area that when the rain comes, they cringe. We don't know sometimes when rain's going to be, and just like one of the person that was interviewed, which happened to be the former engineer of the city of Yonkers, Andy Appy, he said, if it rains 2 inches in 5 hours, we're fine. If it rains 2 inches in an hour, we got a problem. Exactly. Okay, and by the way, I don't know if you looked at that video there, but the point here was that the people living down on Harrington Avenue, which goes below Warburton Avenue, they have a major problem down there because just like this, and you mentioned the sinkhole that happened on the Sawmill Parkway. Well, there's a lot of undermining going on when water is working. It's dangerous, and we don't know what's happening. Needless to say, those people on Harrington Avenue there, they have some issues. Not to mention, if you go take a look in the parking lot, at the Grayston parking lot, go take a look at the wall inside there. It's collapsing. It's about to collapse. Hopefully it doesn't fall on a car, but these people are concerned. And what happens when that wall goes down? What is the domino effect of that wall collapsing? Is that house that the woman lives in there, is it going to affect it? We don't know. Look what happened down at 709. They still haven't fixed that parking lot. That thing collapsed onto the tracks. I mean, this city needs to act, and then the state and the partners, and the federal part need to act on this because there's problems. There are a lot of water issues that are occurring that are creating problems with people. Just look what happened to Peterson Tool on Sawmill Road. That guy got a double whammy. Okay. They called it an earth movement, the insurance company. So therefore, he's not getting an insurance claim to fix his building, okay? Not to mention he's out of business. So what happens to people's homes and business? These are things that the city is not addressing. I brought it to the forefront. I put a proposal out a couple of months ago with my colleagues, and they have not put it forward, that we should go ahead and do a study on all of this, and it's sitting. Again, I put it through to my coalition, and they have not moved on it, and it's crazy because we have a problem with water.
But before we go, you just said something very interesting.
Go ahead.
Earth movement.
Sure.
Maybe this is a bigger problem than just Yonkers. This is new terminology that we did not used to hear.
Yep.
Earth movement. Acts of God.
Correct.
Okay, this is terminologies that insurance companies invented.
Correct.
In order to prevent coverage.
Absolutely.
So maybe it's bigger than Yonkers. Maybe somebody needs to take a lead and let's address this.
You're absolutely right. So a couple of things. As a Republican, I like some of the policies that Trump does, but the point that he hasn't addressed, what's bothering me, he has not addressed. He's talked about energy, although I don't see it at the gas pump yet. So
you disagree with?
I disagree, but I don't know what's happening with why our gas prices at the gas pump has not gone down even more. But the point I'm more is that he never addresses insurance. He never has addressed because what's happened to insurance, especially the health insurance rates. I mean, gosh, single family member now is what, $4,000 a month, almost $3,000 to $4,000 a month.
Can afford that.
It's crazy. It's absolutely out of control. And you're absolutely right. Someone has to take the lead. Is it someone at a Yonkers City Council level that can start the ball rolling? There's so much I can do. Right now, my whole thing is trying to make the quality of life as best possible for the people in the city of Yonkers. And when they call for my help, I address it, and that's where we were with those folks on Odell and Warburton. And that's that particular issue.
Mr. Hodges said that in 2021, you accused him of running because he was mad at the mayor because he did not appoint him as the police commissioner. This is what he says. I'm not vouching anything. Now, you are saying that Tim Hodges, Mr. Hodges, is a yes man for the mayor. So what is it?
The latter. It's definitely the latter. I believe that in listen to what he said. It ties into a lot of what he was talking about. He's saying that I'm the only no vote on the city council. What good does that do? I'm the voice of the people. Okay. Yeah. There's no question. So let me talk about hypocritical comments. Okay. So I could not find it, because I have a messy office right now. I'm going to straighten it out. But I kept the last mailer that my opponent did the first time around. And do you know what one of his comments was on that? He gave me a report card. There were like 6 things that he gave me, an F, 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 and F. Do you know what one of the Fs was? Raising taxes. Do you want to know something? He has the audacity to criticize me about raising taxes. You know how much taxes went up in my first 4 years on the council? 5%. 5%. One year we had a 0. Okay? And he criticized me for raising taxes. Every vote, Mr. Opponent of mine, when I took that vote, your face was in my head because I said no because of the fact that I know that you were going to try to criticize me for raising taxes. What you basically are telling the people is you're going to raise taxes as much as the mayor wants to raise taxes because you don't particularly probably care about the people in the city of Yonkers, okay? And that's what I hear. Do you know how much taxes went up the 4 years that I voted no? 15%. Can you defend that? Can you defend that you want to tell that senior on a fixed income that their taxes went up 15% in the last 4 years? So if you figure someone has $10,000 tax bill, in Yonkers, their taxes are now 11.5, right? 15%, okay? I mean, that's 100 plus change a month. I mean, that could be the difference of medication and some food. I mean, what do you tell that to people? Well, you know something? I fought to try, because what he's telling the people, okay, he criticized me about that I didn't vote for the raise. Why didn't I vote for the raise? You never, that is totally against whatever, you can't vote for your own raise, okay?
You shouldn't.
It's a conflict of interest.
You shouldn't.
It's a conflict. You can vote for the next council.
Correct.
If you are in that next council, that's fine. And then, and the bottom line was the mayor also gave himself a $70,000 retro pay, which I still don't believe was legal. But that's besides the point. So and understand something. As a well-deserved pensioner from the city of Yonkers, okay, for his 34 years of service, okay, he technically every year is going to be voting on funding the pension plan. Is that a conflict of interest? I don't know. Where do you draw the line in terms of conflict of interest? And I've told you the story before that I didn't let my daughter she asked her dad, I'm going to apply for Yonkers as a teacher.
Did she apply?
No, she did not.
You blocked it.
I told her, you can't do that. It's a conflict of interest because if you're going to be that, I'm going to be voting on possibly your salary. I said, I can't do that. I said, when I leave the city, leave City Hall sometime in the long future, because it's not going to be the short future, because I know I'm going to be on the council again on January 1. The answer is it's common sense. It's common sense. How could someone that not want to vote on your own raise? That's ridiculous. This is politics.
So I don't want
legal. I do think legitimate. That's why.
I don't want to talk about your daughter again, but I think last time we disagree on that. You cannot block her vision, her heart from becoming an educator and making our city better.
I didn't stop her from being an educator. Yes, you're saying that making the city better. Probably she would. But the point of the matter here is, as long as I'm on the city council, I feel that way. It's a conflict of interest, and it just goes to show you that my children respect my opinion.
Good enough. Now, you're saying that Mr. Hodges is a yes man now. He says that you are a no man. A no man.
No.
That Mr. Merante
Absolutely not.
votes against anything and everything.
No, that's absolutely not.
His example, capital budget. You voted no.
No,
sorry.
no.
Hold on.
That's where he lied and said that I voted no.
No, correction. No. Let me correct. Capital budget, you voted yes.
Yes, I did.
Operation budget, you voted no. So what's the point of having new trucks, new this, new that, but don't have the personnel to operate those items? That's what he said. Maybe he misspoke. Maybe I misspoke.
I heard. Yeah, I saw the comment. The answer is that when I got on the, again, but I got to thank him for bringing up other stuff. Okay. The point of the matter here is we have new equipment. Okay. When I got on the council, okay, he talked about the 6 fire trucks. Okay. We have plenty of personnel. Does it mean that we have to? I mean, did the mayor give too large a raise? That's a different story. But the point of the matter here is, I thank him for talking about how nice the parks look. Okay. You know what that happened? When I got on the council 8 years ago, this city were falling apart. I voted yes on all the capital budgets because I wanted to make sure, number one, my first priority was making sure that police and fire had their proper equipment. Because the last thing I need is for a 911 call. Because the definition of an eternity is when you call 911 and someone shows up. Okay, and we want to make sure that our police and fire have the best equipment. Okay, that's what, and we were behind. Former Fire Chief Fokker used to give us a great report on things and showed us how old our equipment was. That's ridiculous. You can't have fire engines that old. There's another problem with the fire engine development. That's another story. But police cars, we need to make sure we have state-of-the-art equipment for our police and fire, and the parks. And the parks are looking fantastic. Why? They were neglected for the years prior to me because the prior administration, the prior council, they were trying to save a few bucks and they kicked the can. I didn't kick the can. So yes, I did vote for the capital budget, and we do have plenty of staff. Don't make it seem like we're going to be, out of people.
Did you vote a yes or no for the operation budget?
No. I voted no on the operation.
So yes
budget.
for the capital?
Yeah, that's correct.
No for the operations?
Absolutely.
But isn't this, like I said, look, this is like deciding to build a new hospital, put a new x-ray machine, but don't have the people to operate. You don't think that's the case?
No, absolutely not. Okay, so, and again, thank you very much for telling people that I am a CPA, and I'm a very good CPA, and that's why people hire me, and that's why I'm busy. Okay, the answer is that, and he talked about plans. Okay, well, what's the plan? That's my problem. Is you raise taxes 15% in 4 years? What's next? 5% a year. Why don't we go up 20% in the next 4 years? Why? Because what's happening here, especially in the healthcare cost, when you look at our budget, okay, which I've looked at pretty closely, okay, I mean the big issue is the pension, and more than likely it's the healthcare. The healthcare has gone up drastically, okay. However, the contracts don't say that. People just want their pay raised. They don't care the fact that their health insurance went up, for the year so much money, so much amount of money. That's what the focus of being a union town. It's a very difficult balance. Okay, so my thing here is not that to vote no on the budget. I would say that in a 4-year term, okay, if I had a plan, the plan has to be for the next 4 years that we're only going to raise taxes, because you're not going to get away with not raising taxes. Even the state has a 2% cap. Okay, but the point of the matter here, so if you say that over the next 4 years, you're going to have maybe a 5 to 8% increase. The question is, okay, and you can't trust your colleagues, on the whole thing. So if you turn around and say, we're going to do an 8% tax increase in the first year of a new system, okay, but that's it. Anything that happens afterwards, we have to go with cuts. That's the deal. So at least it's a plan. Here, they're talking about raising taxes with no plan. If there's a plan in place that I can trust, absolutely, I would. You gotta say yeah. You can't say no to everything, but without a plan, I can't say yes.
So that's the point, I guess, you make.
Sure.
You don't. It's not that you agree or disagree. From what I'm gathering from you, is you disagree because there is no plan.
Exactly.
Show me the plan, and I might agree.
You know something, Rue? I'm very concerned. Okay, when you talk about taxes, I said it just a little while ago. I could see, I'm a visual person. You picture yourself sitting at that dining room table with that elderly couple, 75 years old. Now, people are going to say, I'm 75, I'm not elderly. I'm going to get yelled at now from somebody. But the point of the matter here is they're sitting down on a fixed income, depending on what they have. I hope they have other assets, some investments, but some people don't. They go down sitting there, you know, and in a Yonkers house, in the kitchen table, talking about these taxes. How are we going to pay for it? The bottom line is we're losing a lot of good people because they're moving. They're saying, I can't afford this anymore. I mean, even though Yonkers is more reasonable than other jurisdictions around us, this is what's going on. People are moving out, and the new people that are moving in, you know, the houses are being sold. Which could, you want to segue into the next topic of housing situation. That's where a problem is starting to develop within the single-family residences.
Let's move into the housing.
Sure.
Describe that, so people who are watching can understand exactly what the problem is. But speak, you know, in ways that the average person can understand.
I think I try to, because I'm the average person too sometimes when it comes to this stuff. What's happening here is that, especially in the single families, as one of the problems that's happening is, you know, I don't know if being the third largest city in the state is a good thing. Okay, because we have the people, but we have no place to put them, and what it's creating is, and the real estate developers have done is they've stopped promoting homeownership. Although there is something, you know, that we talked about yesterday on the council about promoting some stuff that encourages home ownership. But what are they going to buy homes if all places are rentals? If everything is a rental property, what's it going to do? The supply and demand. That I think you talked about with Rubo on the interview yesterday was that's what's going on right now, and we don't have if you don't have the supply for the demand, what's it going to do? It's going to increase the rental prices, and with all the rules and regulations, which I still don't have a full handle on, these, you know, all these regulations with the AMI restrictions, it's a problem. People can't afford. They can't afford it, and what's also happening though, in a other problem for our single-family homes is that, tremendous problem, is that a lot of people are renting out their houses illegally, okay? And what happens? People start parking cars, and then I'm getting calls from people that, you know, that they can't park in front of their own house anymore because their neighbors are illegally renting the house. And then on top of that, house values have gone up tremendously over the past couple of years. You know that, right?
Yes.
And you know why? Because people are buying them and renting them out. Not Airbnbs, okay? They're renting them out. You know, again, I think we have to change the laws in that category, because if Yonkers is becoming one big apartment complex, okay? The level of community is decreasing because renters are moving in. They don't have you know, stake in the house, okay? You know what I'm saying? Skin in the game. Skin in the game. You don't own the house. You're a renter. You're a transient. You know, all you care about, let me pay my rent and I'm going to get out of here in 2 years. Okay, that doesn't build community. Okay, that doesn't build community. But the housing issue goes back to the rental property, and then you add on top of that possibly millions of people that were brought into this country illegally over the last 4-year administration, and they're moving. They've been spread out over the country. Where are we putting them? We already have a housing problem for our own people, our vets, our mentally ill people. So we have a real big bottleneck.
Yeah, but before we go there, let's stick a little bit more around the housing, rentals versus ownership. Yes, a lot of people renting, not buying. Not because they don't want to, because they cannot afford the houses.
But it's the same thing though, bro.
Yeah,
because if you start selling the houses and making them condos and co-ops, it will keep the rental prices down, and the house prices, yes, the house values will go down. Now again, people say, "Well, you want my house value to go down?" Well, listen, let me tell you something. Your house value now on these average houses are roughly about $650,000, $700,000. Those houses should probably only be around $600,000 if the market was managed. But I think properly. But the real estate developers rule. They just said, well, rental is where it's at. Well, that's what you get. You get mismanagement of the real estate. It's a mismanagement of the real estate, and at the end of the day, all you end up with is because there's a lot of Section 8, because of the fact that people can't afford it, and that's what they have to lean
Right.
to. Not that it's a bad thing, it's not a bad thing, but people have to people want dignity. They want to pay their own rent. I have a lot of stories, but I don't want to get into it.
Now, let's talk about perception versus reality. In our interview with Chief Hodges, we asked him a question about crime. I don't think we touched on crime in our interview because, look, we cannot touch every single subject. But with him I did, and I want to see how you feel about it. Perception versus reality. He says that crime is down. That's the reality. But the perception is that it's not down, due to people like I that films everything that he sees, every crime, every accident.
Sure.
We film, we put it out there.
Sure.
So the exposure got maximized 100-fold. Years ago, if something happened, by the time news outlets, regardless of who they are, by the time they get there, it would be gone. Or maybe they didn't even have time to show up. So it gave a full sense of crime down back then. That's why people say, I wish we can go to the back old days.
Can I ask you, can I answer, I think, the question with a question for you? And you tell me,
But I'm the one doing the interview.
No, you can't, because, all right, finish it up, and because you're leading right towards your own work that you do that doesn't get covered by anybody but you.
And very often that's the reality, though.
Bingo. Why?
You tell me why.
Because the statistics are skewed. Okay? The crime statistics are down. And a police officer grabbed me and said, they criticized me for saying that the Yonkers is, that the statistics are not skewed. Because what happens is they try not to create. I don't know exactly what the point is where it has to be recorded, it has to be reported, okay? Thus making it a statistic. The point here is if it doesn't make the statistics, it's not a crime, okay? And that's what the situation where you have it. And it's multiple times, I use you as an example, that people say to me, Yonkers Voice showed this thing over there, but it didn't make the news. I said, well, because the administration squashed it. They didn't want it to happen. If someone really didn't get hurt or something bad, they squash it. So the police officer said to me, just make sure you say one thing. Make sure you tell them it's nationwide. So the political people throughout the country, mayors and governors and county executives, and George Latimer was good at this too all the time. So not the crime. No, the crime is there. It's just that it's not falling into the statistic. Thus, if you only report 10 when there's 20, that's a great thing.
Isn't that what they say? If you didn't report that, it didn't happen.
Well, but it's not necessarily true, is it? Well, and that's the case. And I'm sorry, you want to finish?
No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
No, but again, when my opponent was talking to you about, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. I believe that the Yonkers Police Department is probably one of the best in the country because, like I said, in spite of me not, voting yes on a capital operating budget over the last couple of years, with my disclaimer, my qualification on it, and getting them the equipment, I want to make sure that my people have the best equipment, they're best trained, so that they can respond and like I said, if in eternity. Calling 911 and someone showing up. It's usually a police officer or a fireman. Okay, and you need to know that these guys have to be ready for any. They don't know what's on the other end of that call. And I think we do have the best people here in the city of Yonkers. But my opponent also turned around and talked about the Crestwood Lake apartments. And what did he say were the problems that the people over there are talking about? Crime, schools. What did he say? Did you say crime? Well, what crime are those Crestwood Lake people are talking about? So he contradicted himself about the crime is, we don't have crime, but Crestwood Lake people are complaining about crime. So I don't know what crimes there were, because I go to the first precinct meetings as often as I can, and unfortunately the people from Crestwood Lake don't show up to tell us what crimes are going on over there.
Well, Mr. Merante, there is pockets of crime, okay? I cover crime everywhere in Yonkers, or better yet, incidents, things that happen. There is certain areas where it happens the most. It doesn't happen everywhere. But you made a very valid point. This is not exclusively about Yonkers.
That's correct.
This is everywhere in the nation.
That's true.
The news industry has changed. Years ago, you didn't heard about bloggers. It was a term that did not even exist. But now you get into real-time news as it's happening. Okay, at that split moment, it's happening. You're watching it. So yes, things get more exposed.
And the mainstream media is not objective anymore.
Exactly. Okay, and the mainstream media, they put the media out in a way to generate a certain inclination or a certain political inclination.
Sure.
Some bloggers do that. I'm excluded. Okay, because I believe I'm fair with everyone. Look, I show you what happened, short description, what time, what day, what I see, and I very clearly say things are not always as they appear to be. You know, sometimes you're reporting based on what you see and things turn out to be different. That's why police gets there, they interview people, they ask questions, and then later on when they have all the facts, then they release a statement saying, this is what we found. But the rule, when it reports, it doesn't have that those resources. So we report based on what we see. So crime is not down. Now I have to ask you.
Also, can I say one other thing?
Oh, of course you can.
So one of the things that came up during the budget process this year, Commissioner Sapienza brought it out, was that, and again, I don't want to just totally say that the statistics are skewed, because the police do a good job. Don't get me wrong on that. But one of the things that came up during the budget hearings, which cost the city a little more overtime, was the fact that we have a good DA now. So she is she's enforcing the law a little bit more than her predecessors. Okay, and therefore people are, and I guess some of the judges too, however the system works. I'm not Susan's process, how she does her stuff, but they're holding people back a little bit, and most of the crimes that were creating bigger crimes. So I want to qualify this thing because is that they're holding back some of the recidivist criminals, and that saves us time, money. But unfortunately, what the commissioner said was we had to put a little more overtime in because now the guys have to go to court more often.
Spoke with Mr. Hodges about this. Didn't ask you the question, but I want to know how you feel.
Sure.
We see what's going on around the country. National Guards here, National Guards there. I'm sorry.
You told me to turn my phone off, too.
I thought I did.
You should be ashamed of yourself. It's not me calling you.
But I did turn this thing on.
All right. Well, go ahead. It's
So,
okay.
I apologize.
Yeah, no problem.
So we're seeing threats of sending the National Guards to many states, including New York State, New York City, New York State. New York City is right next to Yonkers, and we never know if that will touch in Yonkers. What is your, you agree or disagree with him that he says that we do not need the National Guard here in Yonkers and New York City?
I'll agree with him on that issue. Think about what happened during the George Floyd situation, okay? I'll give the mayor credit for that, and the commissioner. We controlled any particular riots happening in the city. Did a great job. Okay, so Yonkers, I agree with my opponent that says that Yonkers doesn't need the National Guard at this point. We're not
New
at
York
that
City.
Well, New York. So talk about New York City. Who's patrolling the MTA? What happened? What did Hochul do when there was a lot of stuff happening on the trains? What did she do?
But wasn't that an emergency?
Did she deploy the National Guard? Okay, so let's not be hypocritical. She deployed the National Guard when she felt it was necessary to do it, but because, like I said, is New York City, see.
But that's the governor's job,
okay,
to decide that if she wants or does not want the National Guard, not the president.
So the thing here is this, okay, I'm not going to, it's an issue that's beyond me. We talk about Yonkers, I can say that Yonkers, I feel that we don't need that to happen here in the city of Yonkers, okay? I don't think so. I think, again, we have the best police department probably in the country. We have the best leadership, okay, of which my opponent was part of that leadership and stuff like that. So kudos to him for laying the groundwork for his successors. But the point of the matter is that it's all. So we have enough, and we have a good staff. We're fully. I think we have a full. No, I would say there's never enough police officers, but I think we have a legitimate good staff. So I think we're good. So as far as that issue of us, I'm not going to talk about New York City. Okay, let's see what happens in November and what happens going forward. I myself would not go down to New York City and hang out at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know about you. I would not be hanging out over there, okay? I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
I do sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And I feel safe.
That's good. And I just like you feel okay about, like certain pockets as you talk about. There's certain areas in the city of Yonkers that have a couple of small pockets of issues. That need a little more attention. Yeah, there's a little more attention, but not to the extreme of needing that. I don't think we qualify for that.
Certain places downtown Yonkers, I might not go at 11 o'clock.
But you go to New York City.
But I would go to New York City, or I would go to one of your neighborhoods, in your area. So there is places I feel safer than other places.
Sure.
Look, animal cruelty is a problem that many people takes very, very, very serious. I know that you love animals. As a matter of fact, you have a groomer place in the city.
Four Paws Dog Grooming, Tucker Hole Road, 650. Bring your pets.
So what's the name?
Four Paws Dog Grooming.
Four Paws
Dog Grooming.
Address?
650 Tucker Hole Road.
Let's not forget that Mr. Merante and his business were the one that groomed the dog.
That was part of the fire on Stockbridge.
That was part of the fire.
And as a matter of fact, she's supposed to be bringing one of her other dogs today.
And Mr. Merante also...
No charge.
No charge. And Mr. Merante was also the same person that offered to groom the dog that we found on Linden Street at no charge. Okay, so let's get it clear that Mr. Merante is not just a business person, but is an animal lover as well, like many of us. But look, that's not enough. You are in a position that you can probably make laws in the city of Yonkers or policies, whatever the correct terminology is. But we are seeing many cases of dog abuse, animal abuse, cat abuse in our city. But we don't see laws to deal with those people. Yeah, you pay a $500 fine, you do some community work, promise that you will not do it again, and you go on. Let's not forget those 25 cats that were found killed, dead here on Locust Hill.
That was a while back.
That was a while back.
It was a while back, yeah.
So
they put them in the trees. The guy was hanging them in the trees
something
like that.
So
disgusting.
Disgusting. The guy is walking. He never paid any serious consequences. My point is, this is nothing new. What is new is that we still don't have laws to deal with those that do those acts of violence towards the animals. I know that somebody contacted you some time back. I don't know what happened to that conversation. The lady about the dogs, this neutered.
Oh yeah. She wanted to do something with the animal shelter and stuff of that nature.
Something like that. But that's a different issue. I'm more concerned with the abuse. Okay. With the abuse.
Okay.
Would you? I asked your opponent.
Sure.
He's very much into it. We need to do something about it. How you see it?
Well, unfortunately, I don't see it. I mean, I don't go to the shelter more. I should probably go there on a more regular basis and find
abuse. Let's talk about the abuse.
Well, I'm just trying to say is that the abuse, I don't see it. I don't get it. It's not reported to me. Okay, what you contact.
You watch Yonkers Voice.
I'm sorry. I really stay away from social media and all that stuff. My professionals take care of that for me. I think the social media is very dangerous. Needless to say, I don't follow it as much as, but I do know that a while back, my colleague Tasha Diaz, we put the law in about there was something with the dogs. I forget the whole thing about it, but there was some legislation put in because I think there was a pit bull that was abused and I wholeheartedly.
That we brought that to light too.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with that legislation. Like I said, there's so much one can do in a day. And I have no objection to doing. Believe you me, I'm an animal lover too.
I do.
I don't have animal. Once Snoopy passed away in 2019, We didn't replace him because my wife is busy taking care of elderly family members, so we don't have time to take care of an animal.
Understand.
But needless to say, the point of the matter is that we do love animals. I do love dogs. As you know, I enjoy going into my store. In my own store, I get thrown out because I play with the dogs too much. So the girls can't work when we playing with them while they're trying to.
But
So I can't. Whatever it is, listen, bro. I don't want to dwell on that. But whatever it needs to be done, I would absolutely support and/or initiate. You have something in particular that you want to discuss? Talk to me. I'm happy to move something forward.
I will be talking to you
Sure.
because, as Republicans say, and many Democrats agree with, is the problem is not the laws. We have laws. What we don't have is execution,
Enforcement.
enforcement of those laws.
Enforcement. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yep. Mr. Merante,
Yes.
I'm going to thank you for your time. We have to conclude this sooner or later.
Sure.
We can make this happen again, not a problem, but I have to end with this. We are thinking about sponsoring or having a debate on Yonkers Voice between you and your opposition, where we will talk about facts,
Sure.
ask questions. Would this be something that you would be interested in? Give us the honor of debating your opposition on Yonkers Voice? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
No, why not? I listen. I feel strongly about my 8 years on the council. Okay, I always could do more. Okay, I've done everything I can. When I get up in the morning and look in the mirror, I say, I want to do as much as I can for as many people as I can in a day. Okay, I have my record stands for itself. Okay, so I'm ready to debate. If you want to challenge my record, okay, you can go ahead and challenge my record. So I'm ready to debate my record of what I've done and what I'm going to continue to do.
in your vision.
And my vision. I mean, again, while you guys talked about a vision, the other, again, I told you my vision. When you talk about taxes, there's a vision. But as far as other things, you don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, none of us. So,
I'll be glad to do it.
Council Anthony Merante accepted our invitation to debate Chief Hodges on Yonkers Voice. So, Chief, now we're waiting for your answer. I will be contacting you formally, inviting you, and then your reply will be shared on our social media. Mr. Merante already replied, so there is no point. He already said yes. Now, we want to hear what do you think? If you're up to it.
My opponent and I do get along very well. We may have some differences of certain stuff,
But that's okay.
But let's sit down and have a debate.
But that's okay. Having differences, it's
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. I also like to find out what's if we're out of time. Do I have a second for one more thing?
We have more. We have time.
Oh, the thing that was the funny part was that he did talk about the fact that he got the conservative line.
Right.
Okay, and he said that so my question is, why is he a Democrat? What makes him a Democrat? I don't know that part. So that and again, this is the same thing you talked about, that the redistricting thing we mentioned earlier on in this conversation. So when I win in November, okay, that conservative line, by the way, I wasn't even interviewed for. Okay, I wasn't even interviewed for. So I have a very conservative point of view. I voted no on tax increases. The point of the matter is that when I win in November, Anthony Merante is going to win. My opponent, even when you decipher what he said in his conversation with you, okay, in terms of saying that the numbers are a little bit more in his favor, so is he going to win or is the Democrat going to win? Okay, so my guess is that at the end of the day, if some Democrats show up and they go down the line, but I know a lot of Democrats, okay, are voting for me. Okay, because as I said the last time in our conversation here, when that phone rings, okay, I don't have enough. You can criticize me on something else, but when I take my calls, I don't ask what party you are. I ask, where's the problem? Let me get to it. Those people that I met with on the water issue, most of them are Democrats.
Well, and that's the way it should be. Once you are elected, you're not elected to serve your party. You are elected to serve the people that voted for you, regardless of their political. But in regards of being Democrat and conservative, look, I'm a Democrat, but I think in many ways in a conservative way. I have a little bit of an inclination. Sometimes I don't tell the people because...
Well, I'd like them to tell the people why he's a Democrat, because I think personally that my opponent he does have conservative values. He should be a Republican, and we should have did this in a primary. But I think that he changed parties just like a lot of other Republicans have done for expediency because of the registration. But wake up, people. Wake up.
Well,
a lot of things are going to change.
That question will be asked in that debate if it happens.
I look forward to it.
In conclusion, anything you want to conclude with?
Yes, I want to first of all thank you very much for the opportunity to speak and rebut my opponent's comments. We are working very hard to get reelected. MeranteForYonkers.com. Please help us out. You want to help volunteer, you want to send a donation, everything's welcome. You need a lawn sign, contact us. We'll drop a lawn sign off. And even if you don't live in my district, name recognition is very important. Even though you've been on the council for 8 years, people sometimes just don't know. That's another good, it's a compliment to me, because people don't know me. That means they didn't need me. That means things are going well. So let's thank you very much, and let's move on.
But let's just conclude now that you mentioned support, lawn signs, and all that. Mm-hmm. If somebody wants to support your campaign with a donation, where do they go?
MeranteForYonkers.com.
That's a website.
That's a website.
Can that be done through Instagram as well? Do you have a link? Just give people, all the options, or just one site.
I think right now we're just going through there. It's not set up for the Instagram at this point. I believe so. I guess I said talk to my campaign manager.
Okay, guys. Well, the point is, some people don't go to websites much anymore. They own social media. But if you want to donate, if you want to support Mr. Merante, that's where you should go for now. If things change, then you can see a notification on Instagram, Facebook, or maybe on his page. For now, vote for Merante.
Anthony Merante.
Anthony Merante for Yonkers.com.
Independent voter.
Let me have it.
Oh, I gotta... Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it as always. Yonkers Voice does not endorse. Yonkers Voice does not oppose. We inform. We bring all the candidates that want to be on Yonkers Voice to our studio, where they can articulate why they feel they are the best person for the job. And while they're doing that, they hope that you agree with that, and on the election day you come and you cast that vote for them. Don't forget, guys, just talking about these things on Yonkers Voice is not enough. You need to vote.
Agreed.
Thank you, sir.
Poster child for every vote counts. 15 votes in 2017 I won by. 15 votes.
Thank you, guys, and until next time.
Thank you.